Today on the channel, like a young Ozzy Osbourne, we're flying high again with WWE Mattel Elite 116, Flyin Brian Pillman, Hollywood Blondes edition.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel Elite 116 unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got Flyin Brian Pillman, Hollywood Blondes edition, WCW edition. But for all your Flyin Brian needs and a whole lot more, hit up Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. And Flyin Brian Pillman, the return of the line to Brian Pillman. We had one way back in the day, so a lot of newer collectors of the last 5, 6, 7 years, what is time, probably the first Brian Pillman figure in their collection possibly here, and very cool to be able to get this one to go along with the Steve Austin that we had many moons ago to complete the Hollywood Blondes. Have to imagine if they got Brian Pillman back under a contract, we're going to get Heart Foundation Brian Pillman, we're going to get a re-release of the old school Pillman in the Bengal tights, have to imagine that's coming. It would be cool to see a chase edition of that one in the blue tights. I'd love to see that. And we could get loose cannon Brian Pillman along the way. So there's a good amount of meat on the bone for Brian Pillman with WWE Mattel. But it is cool to get this one here. I think I would have started with the Bengal one, but I'm okay getting this one right here to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Of course, we'll do some comparisons later on in this very video of a lot of different Brian Pillman figures. But of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, see what old Flyin Brian's up to here. Of course, out of the Heart Foundation, out of the Calgary dungeon once upon a time. And me being a very little kid watching WCW, basically the infancy of WCW, I loved Brian Pillman. He was just a little guy, a scrappy guy. I absolutely loved his chops. Now, Ric Flair, of course, that time known as the guy that gave the chops, was probably the most well-known for chops, except Brian Pillman was right there with him. And I always thought Brian had the overhand chops. He was just throwing them really hard. And I remember just hearing those bad boys connect back in the day. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Where Flair, he'd connect a lot of times, but sometimes didn't connect as hard as Brian Pillman did, at least in my little brain back in the day. Flair, of course, throwing the chops like sideways, where Pillman would just come right over the top. Just absolutely amazing. And I loved his old school Galoob figure where he had the double gotcha, I'm a cat kind of pose going on. I used that as chops all the time when I was playing with my Galoobs as a kid. So a lot of good memories watching Brian Pillman, a lot of good memories playing with Brian Pillman over the years. And that sounds a little bit strange, shouting from the couch. I agree. But I was playing with Brian Pillman. I was playing with him all day long some days. Sometimes the Z-Man would come over and play too, and we'd have quite the tag team. But give me the Z-Man, Mattel. Let's get that done. But let's dive into old Brian Pillman here, Hollywood Blondes edition. Brian looking only like a Brian Pillman could look if he was in the Hollywood Blondes, of course. Big bubble window there, let the light in. Got the tag title, got some extra hands. Got the Hollywood Blondes. It's going to be a wrap right there. WWE logo, got his name. 116 is the Elite line we're up to. Brian over there just representing, of course, the Hollywood Blondes. Looks kind of weird when you got both their heads right there together. One smaller, one bigger. It looks a little strange to me. Elite logo down low. Certified authentic on this side. Flyin Brian Pillman, Elite. On the back, got the big cross sell. We're unboxing every single one of these on the channel per the norm. Of course, at the very end, we're going to unbox the Randy Orton Chase edition, and we'll rank the entire way from my least favorite to my favorite, so stay tuned for that. Tail of the tape, got the blurb. Let's see what it says about one Flyin Brian Pillman here. From Cincinnati, Ohio. I won't hold that against him, though, being a Cincinnati guy. Nobody likes Eric Davis and that, and I think that's why he got out of Cincinnati as quick as he possibly could. Chris Sabo, some of those guys, are just the troubled times over there. And I told the story before going to the starting lineup convention in Cincinnati back in the day. I remember seeing a guy just taking a piss right there in the skywalk in front of everybody. It was a wild scene for young Kyle. Something I'll never forget. Whenever I think of Cincinnati, I think of a homeless guy pissing in the sidewalks. That's what I think of still to this day. Who knows? From Cincinnati, Ohio, 6 feet tall, 227 pounds. Finisher, Air Pillman. It's a lot like Air Jordan, but entirely different and involves wrestling, but it is Air Pillman. As one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions, the Hollywood Blondes, Flyin Brian Pillman was always ready for lights, camera, and of course, action. Career highlights: WCW Tag Team Champion, WCW Light Heavyweight Champion. Never forget his matches, of course, against Jushin Thunder Liger as well. Very hard-hitting affairs back in the day. And it's pretty cool. His son, Lexus King, getting a first time in the line in this exact same set. So pretty cool to get a father-son in the same Elite set. Has that happened before? Have we ever got a traditional Elite set that had a father and son in the same series? I'd have to do the math on that one. But let's grab this out here, see what's going on, see what all the fuss is about. Behind the back, skyhook, Jabbar style. See you later, goodbye. Plastic prison, and of course, you know we got those twist ties locked in. They got to hold Air Pillman down. You got to hold Air Pillman down. It's a dangerous Pillman. But I did love his tag team once upon a time with the Z-Man, Tom Zink. I like those guys as kind of like a modern day Rockers, kind of what I put in my little kid brain. It's like, oh, they're kind of WCW's version of the Rockers is kind of how my brain played it there. Obviously, not quite as good as the Rockers in my brain, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it for sure. See you later. Goodbye up high. See you later. All right, let's get down to Brian Pillman business here. A lot of accessories going on with Pillman, even a rubber band, even a free rubber band accessory, clear rubber band around his wrist. Got to have that. Everybody's clamoring for that, of course. We do get 2 fists of Flying Brian Fury, 2 gripping hands here. Where's that chop hand? Where's that chop hand? I'm sure it'll come one of these days. Got 2 fists Fury looking good right there. We do get the little cut scene right here. Production number, scene, take, roll, date, director, cameraman, sound. Of course, it is real working, and you get the old cut. That's a wrap for the Hollywood Blondes. And of course, we got this with Stone Cold Steve Austin, or just, I guess, Stunning Steve Austin, of course, in the Elite line. So you got to get the most out of your molds. They're going to reuse this. Makes a lot of sense to get that. And of course, with Steve Austin, we got one of these as well. WCW Tag Team Championship. Always cool to get a tag team title belt. Always cool to get any title belt, but one we don't get a ton over the years. So always cool to get these early 90s WCW title belts are always fun for me. Of course, growing up watching that stuff as a kid. But now we're diving into Brian Pillman. And I will say I did make a custom of this one. We'll bring that out. We'll see how my custom fares against this one. I did have that in my collection. But here it is, Brian Pillman returning to the line. And we're going to start with the head sculpt. He's got a hair that could set a poodle's watch to. And I know a lot of poodles that wear watches. Yes, Todd McFarlane, it's true. But he's got that poodle hairdo, if I ever saw it right there. He's ready to go to a Headbanger's Ball. A little hair metal is what this is. It looks like he's getting ready to join Tom Kiefer and Cinderella for a set, maybe. Doesn't look like he's going to sit in with Striper anytime soon. No yellow in this outfit. But man, oh man, that hair is wild right here. Now, I do see what they're going for with Brian Pillman here. It's just a little bit too orange going on. Just looks like a wig. It really does look like he's just wearing a wig over the top. It's almost like a joke kind of wig. So really needed to tone down the hairdo just a little bit. A couple of dark washes through there maybe would have been good. But the head looks pretty good. You got a little bit of that scruff going on with Brian. Of course, he's not the clean face, baby face anymore. He's got a little scruff going on. Got some teeth showing up there. And of course, you're going to be in these Hollywood movies like the Hollywood Blondes. You got to take care of these teeth. So the teeth looking real nice on Brian Pillman. Got 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, and a mouth playing those human hits. But it looks like Brian Pillman, but the hair really throwing me off on this one. Would love to see a redo on that. You do get the Hollywood Blondes vest going on. Does say Flying Brian on the back. Hollywood Blondes, of course. Looking good. Got the stars on there as well. Of course, they're Hollywood stars, as we know. White wrist tape on both sides. We already talked about the hands, of course. Do get the trunks here. The big star in the back. 3 stars in the front. Black knee pads. White and black boots. More stars down there. He's just a starry guy, I guess is what's going on here. Now, arms go all the way around for us, of course. Bicep cut. Double jointed, pinless elbows. Those are the hits I want, Todd McFarlane. You need to work on that, as we always do say. Hands back and forth, side to side. You got the ab crunch, nice and tight ab crunch. Good movement out of that ab crunch. Of course, vest going to be removable if you want to. Back and forth, side to side at the waist. Got those big old Pillman splits. Uh-oh. We might have some right leg Vietnam factory issues. Maybe not. Goes up. The Vietnam War, is it over? Is it over? It's been a while. But we'll stay tuned throughout 116 to see if the Vietnam War is truly over. It'll be over when I say it's over. That's what I'm going to say. How about that? Double jointed, pinless knees. Those hits keep on coming. Boot cut. Ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down. The usual new ankle articulation we get with Mattel. Happy to report no loose ankles. Had a lot of loose ankles as of recently. Not the case with this one right here. So that's good. Constant learning, constant improvement. Vietnam, give those guys a raise in the factory. How about that? Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Maybe just let's wait till performance review season. Then we'll talk. But Flyin Brian fitting on the stand, ready to go, ready to fly through the air, ready to win the tag team titles. You know how he's going to do it. Brian Pillman looking good here. But I did mention I did have a custom that I made once upon a time, and it fell off my table here. But I do have the Brian Pillman custom. I did grab a Steve Austin. I did grab another Flyin Brian figure, mashed them together to make this custom. And got to say, it's pretty close to what I have here. Different knee pads going on, same boots basically. Obviously, the ankle articulation different now. Obviously, the pins and the joints different now. But really not a bad version. It's pretty darn close, of course. But you can see the difference here. And I got to say, I think I like the old head more than this new head. This looks more Brian Pillman to me, I got to say. It's not bad, though, for an easy custom, getting the old Brian Pillman Elite, taking the head off, getting the Stone Cold Hollywood Blonde body, putting it on there. Voila, you got a new figure right there. So that did work in a pinch. Probably time to retire this one, though, after all. And I do got the Steve Austin right here to pair with it. You got to have Steve Austin right there. So you got Steve Austin, you got Flyin Brian. Looking very, very good. And I guess this vest is probably from the original Brian Pillman. I forgot that came with a vest with that one. And where did that go? I'm just throwing stuff off the table, I guess is what I'm doing. Got the original Brian Pillman here, and I did pair the Bengal tight one up with the Flyin Brian shirt. Very 80s into early 90s there, but very cool to get this. And I have to imagine we'll get a greatest hits version of this one from the Vault release, something like that, or a total retread, because this is his most probably iconic outfit. Like I said earlier, would love to see this one and then have the one in the blue trunks as the chase variant. I think that would be a fun one. I think that's an easy layup for the Mattel team. Should be able to work pretty good, but looking good right there. But we're not done. Of course, we got Brian Pillman, Hollywood Blondes, Jakks Classic Superstars. All you know me, I'm a classics guy. I even wrote a book on it. Check out the book on Amazon. Barnes & Noble or now digitally, of course. But we do got the Hollywood Blondes from Jakks Classic Superstars, and here they are from Mattel. About 20 years difference in between these ones. But man, I really do like the Classic Superstars ones. I really enjoyed those when they came out. That was a big, big deal at the time. Now, I don't know if this one's as big of a deal in this day and age now. So it's kind of weird how time changes perception on things. But, you know, 15 years ago, whatever, I guess 20 years ago, maybe 18. What is time once again? When this came up, it was a huge, huge deal as the Toys R Us exclusive. I don't know if there's as much chatter about Brian Pillman this day and age. It's been a long time, but still fun to have the Hollywood Blondes, an epic tag team that really could have went a lot longer than it did. Really got their water cut off early, I guess you would say on that one. But a lot of fun here in this set. And I'm happy to have Brian Pillman back in the Mattel WWE family. Can't wait to see what is in the future. Who knows? We might even get a Ultimate Edition Brian Pillman. I could see that happening over here. So we'll stay tuned to that as well. But what's your thoughts on this Flyin Brian Pillman? Was he as magical to you as he was to me as a kid? Did you enjoy his work? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day. And then some. And of course, dangerous and close to 50,000 subscribers need your help. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And we got a big 5-year anniversary blowout episode coming at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that as well. Check out the Patreon for early access to all the videos on this YouTube channel. Plus, plenty of other content going on over there. Your best way to support the channel. Appreciate all the support. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and now on TikTok. So for Flyin Brian Pillman, that's a wrap.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?